Hi, my name is Nicholas Hafner. I'm usually known by my username Shinmera on pretty much everywhere on the internet. I'm going to be going a bit slower than usually planned for this talk. It was a lightning talk for the European Lisp Symposium 2015, but since I have the time here now and it's over, I've proven that I can do it in 5 minutes. I'm going to go a bit slower and go into more detail on certain parts. So what I'm going to be talking about in this is Radiance, which is a web application environment for Common Lisp. So first, what is a web application environment? I'm going to explain this to you by contrasting it with just the usual web application framework, which is focused on single applications. So you write your blog, you write your software for your company or whatever, and you tightly integrate it with the framework. You use a lot of functions for it because you gain a lot of convenience through these large tool sets that you offer. But oftentimes you're also forced to use certain libraries like JSP or so on to conveniently use the framework. And it's very problematic to host multiple applications. So for example, if you want to run a network, or for example if you have a blog and you also want to run a forum and don't want people to register twice and log in twice and all of that, it's not going to be easy to keep this kind of sharing set up, especially if you want to sort of offer that application to other people at some point and they don't want a forum or any kind of setup divergence from what you actually planned. So Radiance's goals, on the other hand, are supporting many applications at the same time, allowing any kind of resource sharing between the applications and allowing any kind of configuration of applications as well. So if you're a sysop, you should be able to use Radiance applications in any kind of configuration that you want and need. So you should also be able to exchange certain parts. So for example, if you don't like how authentication is handled or database interaction, you can switch that out without a hitch. Everything else should just still work. And if you write an application, you should only ever have to use what you want. So all of this is, well, kind of difficult to imagine working together, but it does. And in the future, it's going to be fully specified. This is the part I haven't gotten to yet because it's quite daunting. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. But that's for later. Once it's done, I'm going to release it, and I hope people will actually make use of it. So I'm going to show a tiny example of it, just sort of voting applications with a couple of options. You can click and check one of them, click submit, and the vote counter will increase by 1. The code for that is very minimal. What we do is we create a database table for us, which has an option name and the vote counter, and we define a page, which is used to display our votes, the thing we seen before. We use our forms, which allows us to compose a very simple choose listing from a set of database return values, which we get with dm-get, and then we define an API endpoint, which is used to increase the vote counter on a particular option and then just redirect back to the display page. So what you've seen here is basically the DB calls or calls to interfaces, which you can define like this, which are here you see basically just interface and macro signatures, but you're not limited to just macros and functions. You can also do generic functions, methods, and any kind of stuff you want to. The framework is flexible enough to allow this. And since this doesn't actually implement any functionality, what you then have to do is write a module that fleshes these functions out, gives them actual things to do. But what it does allow is that you write your application against a specific interface, which has a well-known behavior, but then you can in the back change out the implementation on a particular interface and still have all your applications work without changing any line of code. So for example, if you want a different database, you can just switch it out and you're done. So what does Radiance offer in the end? It offers separation and encapsulation through modules. It allows a convenient way to specify interfaces and use them with your application so that a sysop can have whatever he wants in the end. It allows for request handling, of course, URI parsing and URI patterns in your templates. It allows for resource sharing between modules so that you can conveniently link between them. And an essential part of that is bidirectional routing, which I'm not going to explain here because it's too difficult to get into quickly. There's a blog post out there, you can find it on tamoon.eu. It also does dispatching, of course, so that you can get to your pages and dissect the arguments of the path and so on. Then through interfaces, it allows you to handle banning, rate limiting, administration interfaces, cache handling, authentication sessions, user storage, user profiles, logging, database interaction, database abstractions, templating, error handling, and potentially whatever you want. As I said before, you can add interfaces yourself, but these are the ones that Radiance offers out of the box and also offers at least one implementation for them. So based on these interfaces, we also have actual modules that I've written that you can use right now. So for example, if you need a blog or a file hoster or an image board or something like that, I have it ready, so you can just start that up and have it going. For example, the blog, this is mine, but if you use the blog software called Reader, you can have one like this too. It's very simple. Or if you want a paste service, Plaster, you can have that as well, or an image board, and even other things as well, just ready to use, ready to go. So Radiance is not on Quick Lisp right now, and I don't think it'll ever be. Instead, it's on its own dist, which you can simply install by doing qalt-dist install disk with the following address, and then quick load as you're used to. The actual modules are on the Shirakumo GitHub page, and they usually contain installation instructions on how to get going with them. Thank you for your time, and I hope you keep Radiance in mind for the future once I have the specification and documentation written. Thank you.